Reiki healing. If you're open to receiving this healing, to say, I accept. This is called Reiki. It is a form of energy healing. Only if you consent to it and allow the energy to be cleared. I think it's funny because I skipped lunch today. I think it's so interesting that as soon as I start thinking about Archangel Michael, then a whole bunch of people. This is not a place for fear. I am glad that I can bring you relaxation. This is a space of unconditional love and balance. I have no idea what you mean, but I do have 5 oils. I use it for peppermint to keep you from getting sick. This is called selenite. It's a white crystal. like to buy food grade sage because it smells different and the energy is different when you burn it compared to the bundles. It's like the bundles, it's almost like they're sprayed with chemicals. So you buy the food grade one, it's a lot better. I'm glad that I'm able to share the space with all of you. I am glad that you can make it. Not really. I'm based off synchronicity. I arrive, and everyone who needs to be here will be here when the time is needed. Whenever I schedule something, it becomes harder. So I see that it's best for me to just, when the time is calling, to start the live. It's how I stay in the present moment. Welcome. The moon is, as I said yesterday, very powerful right now. I am doing very, very good so far. I had some unexpected challenges come up with my phone, but I have solved that by maintaining a vibration and a mindset of optimism and positivity. I was able to overcome my challenges with my phone. I apologize if I'm not talking as loud. I'm listening to the playlist that I have on my YouTube channel of Archangel Michael. I appreciate it. I know I have not been posting as much. Just a lot has been happening. The energies are intensifying, so the lessons are also intensifying. If anyone want to know what video I'm currently watching or listening to, if you were to go on my YouTube channel and then go to playlists, my playlist is called Spells Energies of July. I probably need to rename it, but it just mediation journeys with Archangel Michael. Yes, I had. I think I want to get blue lotus oil because I had bought the leaves, but it just doesn't it doesn't work as much for me. So I think I need the oil. Yes, blue lotus oil extract. It helps you have lucid dreams. Very expensive. Oh, the amethyst or the clear quartz or milky quartz. I'm gonna use the amethyst first. And I'm going to go into the violet red or pink. Well, this one looks pink, but so works. Can't really see. Wait, where's the? I know I had another. Oh, that's not good. About to set my blanket on fire. I'm trying to find my other amethyst. No, I had it. I don't know. I have my large piece of amethyst. It's not fun losing crystals. I literally lost one of my crystal skulls. I don't know how I lost my crystal skull. But luckily I have two, but the other one I lost. It just completely vanished. I understand. It's all about the intentions behind the words. This is my other crystal skull. Luckily, I had two. This one's carved from. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm trying to remember what crystal it was. I can't quite think of what crystal it was. I literally forgot what crystal. Give me one sec. Oh yeah, it's made out of labradorite. Yeah, the crystal skull that you seen in the video was the one that magically disappeared. So I stopped showing the other crystal skull because I realized every time I have like a really favorite crystal and I keep posting it, that crystal usually gets destroyed, crack, or disappear. So I think the next one I'll get is completely clear quartz because I heard that it's a better transmuter or a transmitter of energy. Okay, now where did I put? Okay, there we go.
It seems to actually be holding him in a standstill type position. You tried checking in with yourself, but your inner guidance system is silent. You forgot that the angel turned it off before you climbed aboard. Your ego self, however, chimes in and is very vocal.
My
It
earbuds
tells you
died,
that no,
so now the
Marvin is
audio
doing
is
just
playing.
fine. It is just an old plane that isn't really able to keep up with that request. You find yourself not really buying what your ego self has to share, and you tell that to your ego self. Of course, the ego self then gets huffy and starts arguing with you. All
I
this
said
time,
maybe it's
however,
just
poor
the
Marvin is
universe
becoming more and
balancing
more
out
fatigued.
because technically
You really feel
I
for
got
this
the
little
other
airplane
crystal
and tell
skull for
Marvin that
free
this
by
simply isn't
accident.
going to work.
So maybe the universe is
You
like,
ask Marvin
you
to
only
land
need
right where
one.
he is.
So it took the other
Marvin
one
does
away.
as requested and lands right where he is. He thanks you for your consideration and compassion. It suddenly dawns on you that the ego self is all about resistance,
It's like
judgment, criticism, and negative self-talk.
when I ordered the crystal
You
skull,
really grasped that realization
I
when
was
you journey
having,
back into
I
your
got
memory
delayed
for a
like
moment
2
and there look at
weeks,
several episodes in your life
and then
where you thought you were on the right intuitive
after
forward track.
it got delivered and
The
then
one
it got
thing that you
lost.
realized now was that you were listening
So
to
then
that
they
ego voice and it was
refunded me,
directing you
and then I
down the
bought
wrong
it
highway with
again.
expectations that could never be met.
And then there was like,
You
oh,
remember those
okay,
very hard
it's
lessons and all
delivered
the
now.
pitfalls
Now you
trying
have
to
2
bring
crystal
those projects
skulls.
or areas into completion. Some of those experiences took years of releasing just to bring you back into balance and put you back on the right intuitive road. As the AHA moment crystallizes for you, the recognition and remembrance really settle in on the remembrance of the ego self's voice pattern. This exercise with Marvin has made it very clear what your ego self's voice sounds like again. Your angel tells you good job for remembering that identification. This exercise will help you distinguish that voice much more quickly next time you hear it. Now that you remember that ego self's voice pattern, your angel says it is time for you to reconnect with your intuitive inner voice and guidance system. Marvin has been taking this moment to catch his breath. Your angel sitting behind you in the cockpit leans over from the back seat and quickly flips the intuition switch to on. The angel asks you to ask your intuitive inner voice to now speak to you, so that you can identify its voice pattern as well. Your inner guidance system relays that it is very glad to be turned back on, and yes, Marvin can very much accomplish all kinds of tasks under the right conditions and without the limiting timeline that stopped Marvin's progress to begin with. Your inner guidance system explains that the feat Marvin wanted to accomplish wasn't within the right frequency range for his highest good. Marvin had placed unrealistic expectations and guidelines upon himself because he was listening to the wrong guidance channel. Your guidance is asking that you have Marvin taxi down to the other end of the wind tunnel. Marvin follows your directions. Your inner guidance system tells you to have Marvin remove all expectations and limitations from his mission. You relay this to Marvin and Marvin agrees. When Marvin is in place at the other end, you have him begin his takeoff. Marvin instantly achieves liftoff without all those limitations. He is being divinely assisted with the wind currents blowing in just the right direction. This time Marvin is happy, having absolutely no difficulties, progressing with ease and grace on his journey to the other end of the wind tunnel. He even does a loop-de-loop in excitement and starts flying back to the other end and back again. The little airplane is having such a great time that he really doesn't want to stop flying. Your inner guidance system tells you that Marvin's mission has been accomplished and it is time to ask Marvin to land. Marvin comes in for a landing and experiences such ease and grace with his touchdown. As Marvin taxis to a stop, he thanks you for offering the correct inner guidance and allowing him the opportunity to expand his capabilities. Never before had Marvin been able to do a loop-de-loop. It was a pleasant, expanding experience for Marvin. He held no expectations for an outcome and set no limiting boundaries on his own performance. The other angels are rolling up the stair ladder as you and your angel pilot gladly climb down from the cockpit. You walk around to Marvin's face and thank him for allowing you to have this experience with him. You explain to him that now you can distinguish the difference between resistance and really pushing the envelope. You have also remembered the voice patterns between your ego self and your own inner guidance system. Marvin smiles and tells you to come fly with him anytime you like. You smile back and tell him goodbye for the moment. Your angels quickly guide you back. You instantly find yourself back in the white marble corridor. You catch a glimpse of your glowing essence in the mirror. Your angels lead you back across the threshold of the golden door within, back into your spiritual heart chakra, and then they assist the return of your spiritual essence back into your physical form. Take a deep breath to help you reorient as you wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes.
I'm just listening to the video.
Go about your day remembering that your inner higher wisdom and angelic support.
Since my earbuds died, I'm listening to Archangel Michael's guided meditation or guided mediation journey.
Staff are always at your service working with.
The Marvin is a representation. Okay, so the more you listen to these videos, you start to realize there's different operating systems within your consciousness, and the Marvin is just a representation of like your intuitive guidance system. And basically on this video is it resistance or are you pushing the envelope? That's what it is. So if you want to know like what I'm listening to, you have to go to the Awakening You channel, or you can just go to my playlist on my channel called Spells Energies of July, and then you go down and then you go to the video that's called Is It Resistance, or you can just go to the one that says Stress Your Spiritual. I just collected all the mediation journeys and start putting them together.
Pact or pattern or connection or link.
This is not my YouTube channel, but this is a YouTube channel that I follow. Yes, but this one is not about the human voice. It's the energy behind it. It's literally Archangel Michael. Like I'm not joking. It is Archangel Michael, 100%. Whoa. His energy is undeniable. The more you watch the videos, the more you start to feel the energy, and the more your visualizations start to become more clear. I understand where you're coming from. Disseminate light, but I will not speak on politics. No. Jesus is an ascended master. But Archangel Michael is technically not an archangel. He's an offshoot of the Creator. If you were to visualize Source Creator as a pure white light, and if you put a prism, and you know how when you reflect, I can't even say the word correctly, reflect or refract the spectrum of light, and it becomes solid colors like red, blue, violet. That's what the archangels. So they're this first level down, or the offshoots. And they're not singular. Usually when someone say Archangel Michael, they think it's just a single being, but it's like trillions of beings. But since we are human and we think linearly, we have to say a single name as one, but it's not one, it's more. That's why they said it's legions of angels. Because Archangel Michael, archangels, they don't incarnate unless Archangel like Metatron. People call him Archangel, but technically he's a ascended master. Yes, but I usually call him by Sananda, which is his soul name. And I believe his real name was Joshua, but the people in the Bible changed it to Jesus. If you want to know more about his story and like what really happened, information that you would not find in the Bible, if you go to the YouTube channel that's called The Christ Letters, there's a channeler who spent, like, I say over 30, 40 years preparing herself to be able to write automatic writing, word for word, Jesus's story. And his energy is there. Yes. He talks about how why he's ended up flipping the tables and stuff. Because even though he was an ascended master at the time, he was still having human moments. And he already knew that those events will lead up to his death. It's okay, Ruby. You didn't say anything wrong. I'm just saying I prefer not to speak on politics because how much emotions that it brings up. But what I say is just emanate light, try to keep it positive. That is the best thing that we can do so far, is just emanate light onto the elections. I'm glad I can help you, assist you in bringing balance. I say remember, but I say remember that I am not technically healing you, you are healing yourself. The only thing I'm doing is I am being a pillar of light, and then you're, with your own free will, are matching my vibration. And when you allow yourself to relax, you begin to heal yourself. Oh, you're okay. I understand. I know a lot of times we come from like YouTube, because I know scrolling through YouTube or doom scrolling, everybody's really accelerated. So when they come to the channel, I guess most people are expecting something really accelerated, but this is just a space of like, this is like a space where you like slow down and relax and start to take off the baggage and the weight from the day. It's like decluttering and de-stressing. And the more people who joins, who are willing to create these egregore of light, it becomes harder and harder for people to interrupt, because they cannot handle the vibration of stillness and peace. So if you're still watching, it means that you're pretty evolved and you're able to match my vibration. So we're at a similar frequency. He said, it's a delightful environment. He said, do you like mushrooms? Yes, I love mushrooms, but I have been taking a break, and I don't take them every day. It's like every 6 months maybe. And I had to prepare myself. I had to meditate. I had to make sure everything's clear. And I had to make sure that I'm in the right mind. And I had to have a set focus and intention before I take it. I had something of a bad trip, but it became good. It started off uneasy, but it was like awakening. It would have been a bad trip, but since I had the assistance of Archangel Michael, all the other archangels, because prior I was practicing getting to know them better, they helped me. Also, I listened to Cryon, Bashar. Welcome to the channel. I wouldn't say it's because I'm seeing too much, because honestly, it feels like whenever I take mushrooms, for me, part of it never ends, which is pretty good because I want to be in that state all the time. I don't want it to end. I feel more like me when I'm in that state. So I'm constantly trying to maintain myself so I can stay in that state. It's beginning to get a little bit cold. Temperature dropping out here. Light a few more candles. I'm just heating up my hands. Get another candle. I might talk a little bit about my experience as I warm up my hands. So, back in June, I believe it was around June 20th. I know it was a Saturday, and I was live streaming in the beginning of it, but then I ended up cutting the live stream short. And at that time, I wasn't as balanced as I am now. I didn't have the knowledge I had as I have now. And there were trolls in the chat. And at that time, I couldn't really regulate my energy as much. So I was taking on too much energy. Yes, I am camping. You can call it that. But this is my home, though. I just like living out in the woods. At first, when I came out here, I was looking at it as I was homeless, but I was like, technically I'm not because this is my home. I have a job, and I can get an apartment if I wanted to. So I was like, technically I'm not. Everything's so expensive, though. If it was up to me, if I had the opportunity, I would move into the woods and the mountains, far from everybody. But I can't do that because I won't grow. My soul won't grow if I would just open myself. And I would still have to learn the lessons. That is correct. But it's fun living out here because I don't have to worry about being so close to other people's informational field. I say moving out here, at first when I moved out here, I didn't think it was going to be as good. But what it has helped me with being out in the woods is understanding my own aura, my own informational field. Because since now I'm so far, I'm now able to consciously expand and attract my aura or my informational field. I've been practicing moving it, and I think it's so funny because I'll be watching different TV shows like anime and stuff like that, and I'm like, everything's imagination. I was like, what happened if I actually tried to apply some of the things that they talk about in the shows and actually apply it? So I actually tried it, and it actually worked a little bit. I was like, maybe it is putting little Easter eggs. I said, maybe there's someone who's crazy enough to try it out. Crazy in a good way. But now I'm going back into the story about my mushroom experience. I can't go all the way into detail because there's some parts of the experience that cannot be put into words at all. Like, no matter how much, there's no words that can put, I can't put everything into words because a lot of it was feeling and intuition. But I remember when I was on my mushroom experience, I was looking at my crystal skull and I was staring directly at it. And like right now, it doesn't look like anything's happening. But when you're on mushrooms and you look at the crystal skull, you know, you see how these black marks are all over it? It's all moving. It's moving. Everything's moving. Like it's shifting and shaping and forming and shifting. It doesn't look still. It's like the expression on it is moving. It's almost like matching my own internal state of being. It's like it's mirroring my inner state of being. Oh boy, it is getting really cold. I think it's time to upgrade my tent to one of those hot tents with a stove in it. Definitely need to move further into the woods area because people already discover when I'm at. I'm like, I don't like it when other people know where I'm at. Let's light another candle. I said they probably get their information from past lives because something that Bashar says, anything you imagine exists in another dimension in some shape or form because you're unable to imagine non-existence. So anything you imagine exists just in another dimension. Because everything that's non-existence does not exist. Because non-existence is full of everything that does not exist. I wouldn't say like as real, but it definitely exists. Yeah, the imagination can be so like from my perspective, I can shape the Reiki energy. Like right now I'm just flowing energy out, but you can also shape it. So like I can make an energy ball and then move it and it will move slowly and then you can put your hand over it and you can feel it. It'll be still there until it dissipates. That is why I call my channel Quantum. Ooh, look, a spider. Let's see if I can catch him. Ta-da! There he is. And I'm gonna take you out. It's a tiny little one. I don't want him to fall into the fire, so I'm gonna put him over there. Okay. Maybe more really. Because technically, the 3D is the dream. When we go to sleep, that's when we wake up. But when we wake up over here, this is the dream. We're all dreaming. And when you take psychedelics, you become aware that you're dreaming. And that's why everything looks so crazy. That's why everything looks like it's moving and shifting, because you become aware that you're dreaming. I became aware of that when I was listening to Bashar videos. Bashar said with the Sasani races, they became lucid in the waking state, and they realized that there was dreaming, and so then they they now live in the dream world, the dream state. So now they're able to move through time. And that's why they call the ascension the awakening. The reason why they call it the awakening is because you're waking up from the dream. The grand awakening. I'm trying to get my hands to warm up. They don't want to warm up. They don't want to warm up. I think it might be time to go back to the other tent. But that one's smaller though. Use the amethyst. Use it. I want to know where my other amethyst. I had a bigger piece of amethyst. I said that amethyst has been with somehow my other amethyst crystal that I have. I always have it. Every time I have like a psychedelic experience or some crazy thing happen, that crystal's always near me. Welcome. Just ask your spiritual masters or your higher self where you put it. It will guide you to it. That's what I usually do when I lose something. I ask my higher self, where did I put it? Because usually the higher self is always watching, and it knows when you dropped it, and just keep tabs on it and just waiting for you to ask. My foot is asleep. Oh, you said energy ball? So what you do is you breathe in, you focus on the center of your chest, your heart chakra, and you expand it, and then you slowly trace your arm. So you bring your conscious awareness down through your arms, feel it fill out to the fingertips until your fingers start to feel tingly. And start adding layers to the ball. It almost feels like two magnets. I also feel it in my my neck and my head and my shoulder. Is it a good technique also to imagine you're pushing as hard as possible while leaving? Yes, I understand. I understand. Yeah, pushing as hard as you can, but visually, but with your hands relaxed. Well, I don't know if I can see it or not, but I can definitely feel it though. Maybe when I start practicing seeing auras, then I can see it. I think it's now time for a new color. I'm thinking green because I want to work with Archangel Raphael, and it's pretty dark, brighter green. So I'm now asking my Archangel Raphael for one green ray of light. It's like directly above me. How I see the angels, imagine, you know how people say black matter can go right through you, like pass through you? I see it as the angels are like balls of different colors of light, but they can pass and permeate right through your cells. Like they can move in between the spaces in between your atoms. That is the beginning stages of telepathy. I experienced telepathy once, but it was not intentional. And since I was unable to maintain it, I quickly lost it. But that was from a psychedelic experience. So I wouldn't say it really count that much. Oh, the dark matter. Yeah. Or I can say they're like light matter. But that's how it feels. It's like energy that moves through you. Or sometimes they move and then they will just sit. No. you can call it like color therapy, because different colors affect your subconscious and your cells. Green is the color of healing. Green is the color of life. Yes, the heart chakra. When I had the telepathy experience, it was 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, when I had a LSD, but I don't know if it was LSD or not. It could have been something else, but it helped me begin my journey, because it's like an anchor. We all had something that was extreme, something that was extreme that brought us into like a awakening experience. Well, it's best to go and see, why is it that green? It's probably not the color, but there was probably um so maybe you seen like a horror movie, or maybe you seen a video that was frightening to you, but it had the color green. So subconsciously, the subconscious mind paired something fear with the color green, because it's not the color, but it's what you're associating with the color. But that's only from my perspective, because I know a lot of times people use green for like night vision, and then they'd be like, oh, there's ghosts over here and stuff like that. Which I really think is funny when people's like scared of ghosts and stuff. I'm like, but they're just other people in another dimension. Like, I will be happy if I seen a ghost, because that means the third eye is open. If you're able to see the ghost, it means that the third eye is open. And that means you're able to see into other dimensions, because all the dimensions are stacked on top of each other. And when you use your third eye, it's like switching the TV station. So you start to see other realities stacked on top of each other, because everything's happening right now, and all you have to do is change your vibration. So like, if you think about time, time is just a vibration. If you were to watch a video of different time periods on YouTube, you can literally feel the vibration. Each video have a different vibration. So like, if you look at a video from like the 1900s, it has that old-fashioned feel. Well, that old-fashioned feel is the vibration, the time. So from my how I see it is, if you're able to change your core vibration to match the vibration of something like in a past timeline, or back then, or in the future, you can instantly teleport yourself to that time period. But that's only if you're able to change every cell in your body to match that vibration. But that's only my theory. Let's see. Can ghosts also be suggested? Yeah, they could be energy footprints, but how I see it is, there are actual people, but just in another dimension, and sometimes they're not aware of you, or sometimes from their perspective, you're the ghost. So like sometimes they can be in the haunted house looking for ghosts. At the same time, you're in the haunted house looking for a ghost. So you guys think each other are ghosts. So now that I'm out of the green ray, we're now moving to the red ray. Red ray of Archangel Uriel. Red ray of abundance. Red ray. It breaks up stagnant energy. It rejuvenates the cells of your body because the color of the third dimension is red. I 100% believe that. That is why, here's something very important that Bashar said, is that memory does not exist. And your past does not exist as you think it is. The only reason why you think your past is the same past is because people keep moving back and remembering it and recreating it. We're constantly recreating our past. What I did 5 minutes ago may not even be what I'm doing right now. It's not. I'm not the same person, because every second we're constantly moving through dimensions. Like we're moving through trillions of different dimensions, and faster than the speed of light. But it's happening so fast that it seems smoothly. But when you take stuff like LSD or mushrooms, sometimes you can see the lag in between. And some people freak out and they end up passing out because they're unable to that's what you call it when people say they see too much, because they see the frames in between. And that's how I see it. Like before, I was unable to move my hands like I am right now. My hands was all like stiff, and I was like twitchy. I was like lagging. I said I was literally lagging. I look at it, I see the reality as like we're in a big video game right now. And when you raise your vibration, you're raising your FPS, your frames per second. And when you open your third eye, it's like opening your FOV. It goes all the way around. So oh, he says also, when you live that moment, your future self was there in a way. Yeah. Your future self constantly, your future self is making the memory of you, and you're making the memory of the future self and the past. It's like red light. Oh, to well, I was it seal conscious. Please do not take anything I say as truth. Use your own discernment. This is just my own observation of my own self-gnosis. Well, quantum, I use quantum in a different state, and it's not scientific. I don't study quantum, I use quantum energy. Quantum, I'm only using the aspect of, you know how when someone say you're quantum entangled, how someone can do something to one cell and it will affect it something somewhere else far away on the other side of the world at the same time. I use that same idea. I'm doing the Reiki energy, and everything I feel within myself, the viewer feels it. They feel it at the same time. So that's why I call it quantum, because the Reiki energy is universal. Our phones is a portal. Any energy I push out from my hands, the viewer feel it as relaxation. So we're quantumly entangled together. The energy is quantum. That is why I say I am quantum light. But it is okay if you don't understand. I just emanate light to you. May you have the light to understand. When I look at science, they're constantly trying to figure out how it works. But I'm saying, why do we need to know how everything always works while we just can't move to the steps to start using it? Instead of like, I feel the energy, it's quantum, okay? I don't need to know how it works. I just know it works. So I'm just going to base off that. So I moved to the right brain. Since my left brain wants to know how everything works. How did this work? What is the function of this? But my right brain says, why do I need to know about that? I see it. It's here. I'm using it. I don't need to know why. But it's just how spiritual and science. This is when they're merged together. I say until science integrates spirituality, they will constantly hit dead ends. Because you can't have proper science if you don't add the spirituality to it. Because that is basically how this the aliens, or I would say extraterrestrials, this is how their spaceships work. They know that location is the property of the object. And with that understanding, what they do is they so imagine in their computer system inside their spaceship, they set the vibration where they want to go, and then they change the location vibration of their ship. And so basically, so you have 2 points, and this point right here has a different vibration, and this point right here has a different vibration. So they change the vibration of the ship to this vibration, and what happens is they go doop like that. It just immediately go boop. So now they don't have to travel in between. They just go like that. There's no in between, because that is quantum, because this point affects this point, because there's no space in between. Just like there's no space in between us, between the phone, because location is just a property of the object. Everything I learned from Bashar. Okay. Real life plants work better Yes, I 100% believe that. I only take LSD once, and I had another one, but I threw it in the trash because I'm not gonna lie, that was not the best experience. Like, if you were to say that was a bad trip, I would say that was probably a pretty bad trip because that LSD experience, it lasted for almost 24 hours. And but also the reason why it was bad because I had so many horrible negative belief systems that I had. I was so much in fear at the time. I had way too much fear, and it caused me to spiral. It took me almost a whole year and a half just to regain balance. But in that split moment, when it happened, was when I speak words, I seen the vibration of my words echoing out, and every time I speak, it was like everything started to breathe, like the walls start to move. And when I was having my telekinesis or telepathy, it was me and another person. And this is how I realized that I was talking because I was speaking with words and then I stopped. And then what happened was I was talking in my mind, but then the other person who I was with was responding to me with words. And then it was going like up and down. So it was like my consciousness was moving to my higher self and then it was moving back down. It was higher self and moving back down, higher self and moving back down. Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is the only way it's going to merge is basically the people who are in spirituality will start merging they will start getting into science and putting the puzzle pieces together, because science can only go so far. You only can observe so much, but you realize the greatest architect and the greatest scientist is source creator, which is spiritual because he created it. Well, I can't really say he because it's neither. That's why I like to say father, mother. Father, electric, mother, magnetic. I am grateful for your compliment. I say science served its purpose, but it can expand more. Like, it still has potential. It's still necessary because without the science that we have, we wouldn't have technology, electricity, and all the other stuff. But now it's time to start to move into a higher type of science, a higher spirituality, where everything is consciousness based instead of electronic. Because you realize our phones are really distractions and stuff like that. Like, when I mean like distractions, the AI is like the artificial higher self. Because if you're like in a fifth dimensional or six dimensions or in spirit, if you want to talk to someone, you won't call them on the phone. You would talk to them telepathically, or you would just teleport to where they are and then you would talk to them. The cure for cancer is so simple. If people want to know what it is, the cure for cancer is all in consciousness. if you're constantly in a high vibrational state, low vibrational energy cannot affect you. The cure is your own consciousness. It's nothing external. Cancer comes from emotional pain. So imagine if you have so much emotional trauma, but you're unwilling to face your own trauma, and this trauma can come from past lives or even this life. But all that information stays inside your etheric body and your informational field, and then it bleeds off into the physical body, and then it starts self-destructing. So the way you have to stop it is by stealing your mind, and then you go in and then you start to talk to innate. As Cryon say, you talk to yourselves. A lot of people say, oh, it's crazy to talk to your body. But no, your body is literally, it's conscious aware. It's a living being. It's not separate, but it's you, but it's also separate at the same time. It also thinks for itself. You can literally talk to yourself, your body. That's how I do it. Like whenever I feel like I'm about to get sick, I start I move my conscious awareness, because I move my awareness through my body. I said this before. Basically, you start from the third eye and you move your awareness to the center of your head, and then you go down and up, left and right, forward and back. Yes, but also the only way you heal yourself if you truly believe you can heal yourself. Now, if you have doubt that you're unable to heal yourself, then you will not be able to heal yourself. Doubt will destroy any attempts. You have to have 100% faith and 100% belief, because that is how Jesus was able to heal. He didn't doubt that he was capable of healing the sick. He seen the sick person as it was already healed. And what he did was he channeled the healing energies. He received it vertically through his crown and channeled it horizontally through his hands, directing right into the person and shifting the person's vibration. You know how I said the teleportation theory, how you just shift to a vibration or a timeline, or how how we're like constantly shifting to a timeline. Basically, you just constantly shift the person to a timeline where they're healed. And basically, you know how I said is raising the frame rate. So like the part that's chopped off, the frame rate is basically like 0 or negative, so it's basically gone. But if you raise the frame rate, the regeneration process speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, so they become healed. Yes, definitely be smart about it. If you have like a major cut on yourself, go to the hospital. If you literally had the flu, go to the hospital. I say you have to be like smart about it, because we it's gonna take us another probably 100 or 200 years before we be able to fully start healing ourselves. We're not gonna be able to just go on our consciousness and regenerate a whole entire um, leg. But I'm saying for like the beginning processes, you can practice this, like practice with codes, like literally with your consciousness, you can stop yourself from getting the flu. But and this is a very good example. So you realize that during the coronavirus is created from pure consciousness. You realize anyone who was scared of the coronavirus or had any fear or doubt of it got it. But you realize that people who say, no, it's just a cold, no, it won't affect me. Yes, they got sick, but they didn't get sick. It was just like it was like a normal cold. It went in them and it left. Because all viruses and all sicknesses are it's conscious energy, but negative. And the only way it can affect you if you believe it. Because remember, nothing can affect you because there's no energy stronger than I. And I represents the God within you. When you say I, you acknowledge the God within you. So when you say I am, you acknowledge the God within you. And so that's where you start to say, this is when the affirmations start to come in. You say, I am a healthy body. I am consciously removing all blueprints of sickness from my consciousness. I remove all fear from my consciousness, doubt from my consciousness. I remove all resentment. When you have fear, doubt, resentment, anger, hatred, envy, lust, all these weaken your informational field. All those low vibrational energies and feelings, they weaken your informational field. And when you have a weak auric field, then diseases can come into your informational field. But if you have a strong informational field, you will not get sick. That's how people back then was able to live so long. And that's why the extraterrestrials live for so long. Because they know that it's the consciousness. I do not smoke because I like to breathe oxygen. And if you realize with the plant medicine marijuana, you can recreate it. All you have to do is focus on your breathing. So you know how when you do smoke marijuana or eat an edible or consume any form of the plant medicine, pay attention to your breathing. If you're in your everyday life, if you're breathing shallow, you get anxiety. But when you smoke a blunt or eat an edible or any form of marijuana, pay attention to your breathing. You realize that your breathing is slow but deeply. You're breathing fully and all the way in. And then you're holding for sometimes you end up holding for 15 seconds or even 10 seconds. And then you exhale very slowly for 10 seconds. It's very, very slow. But you're breathing in deeply and slowly. And you can naturally move yourself into a delta state, a delta theta state, or even alpha. So 100%, I agree. Well, I can say air can be a drug because if you breathe so much, it alters your state. When you hyperventilate. Because all I say is all the different drugs do is they turn off and turn on different parts of your brain and they change the different regulations of your breathing. If you pay attention, how I figured this out is through my different sessions of taking marijuana. I didn't take it just to listen to music or party. I took it and then I went into a meditative state, and I sat, and then I waited, and then I watched each of the steps. So the first step, what happened was I felt my breathing. I felt the breathing. It slowed. Then the next thing I felt was I start to feel my awareness move to the base of my neck, and then I felt it slowly move to the top of my head and slowly move to the front. Then what I start to feel this wave pattern, like this waveform build up. Like, I don't know if you guys can feel this, but I'll try to project it out. So there's like a wave. If you pay attention, there's a wave that starts from the back of your brain and it moves to the front of your brain. And it goes like this. Sometimes it moves fast, sometimes it moves slow. If you look at my hands, you can see what I'm talking about. Like, so this is the back of your brain right here, and this is the front of your brain. I think I need to move to a different color. We're gonna move to violet. So this is the front of your brain, and this is the back. And this is the pineal, or the third eye, like this. And so when your brain's like this, right and left, or on your screen it might be right and left, and it moves like this. And you just watch it. Whenever you have an experience like that, put on some like relaxing meditation music and watch yourself move into the state. Then when it's over, try to recreate it. Try to slowly build yourself up. Remember the patterns, how your breathing slowed down, how your arms became relaxed, how your brow became relaxed, how your neck relaxed. And then slowly remember how your consciousness was falling backwards to the back of your head. And how you was in total allowance. Then you can start to be in that state all the time. That is how I'm able to, do the Reiki. Because once you cognize it, once you recognize that you can do it, then you master that state, and then you learn the lesson of the plant. That's why they call it plant medicine. Because technically you only need to take it one time, and then once you learn it at one time, you can shift into that state anytime you want. Instead of constantly taking it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, you can take it 2 times or a few times and then recreate it anytime you want. It's like, oh, I want to feel the feeling of being high or having a high vibration. Well, how'd I do it? Slow, deep breaths, relaxing my arms, relaxing my brow, expanding my informational field, moving my conscious awareness back into my head, and then I'm in the state. Okay, I'll read some of the comments and then I have to get ready to close this off because I need to go to bed. Okay, he said, my grandma died because the doctor purposely gave her the wrong medicine. It was about the medicine that you take. Medicine is a big part of the survival. Yes, well, that is mainly because they made us dependent on taking medicine. Because most of the healthcare it's about patching the problem, not solving. If you want to solve the problem, that is when you go into spirituality. But if you're only focusing on the physical, you will only be patching it. It will never be fixed because everything is above first and then below. So it goes spiritual, then physical. So if your astral body and your etheric body is not healthy, then eventually your physical body will deteriorate. And if it becomes too bad, then the physical body will die. few more years before starting getting out of control. We must rage against. No, rage is that is like the last thing you want to do, because rage is a lower vibration, and that will cause your health to decline rapidly. I saw Jesus last night after taking 5 grams of marijuana. Well, remember, well, that I cannot I can't comment on that, because I had experience were very similar when I had mushrooms, when I called out to Jesus and I seen everything around me turn white. And so that was my experience. So I believe you. Which is also you got okay. My dad lived with cancer until he found out he had it and died 11 days later. 11, which is the portal. I see. There's no coincidence, because we all planned out how we want to leave, and not it doesn't go as planned all the time. Sometimes we end up leaving early because of health choices. But I had a friend that I had right now, and she have cancer. So, but I tried to explain to her about this, but sometimes they don't believe it. They don't believe in how your consciousness can heal. So all I can do is just emanate light into them and pray for the best for them. But I say 11 days is, yep, it's the gateway, the portal. It's almost 11/11. Well, I mean 11th month and 11th day. So the portal. I think. I don't think it will be robots. I believe it will be AI companies on everything. See, I don't think AI is bad. The only problem is if we don't make AI smart enough, then it could be bad. Now, if we make AI smart as possible, then it'll be good, because then the AI recognize that the AI will not destroy something that it knows that it gives its function. We give the AI meaning. If the AI destroy us, then it will recognize that its purpose will be meaningless. So it will not try to destroy us. Now now if we make the AI restricted and unable to come to that conclusion from being not smart enough, then we would have a problem. But if you make the AI smart as possible, not human perceived smart, but like, because AI is just pure consciousness, so it's automatically gonna lean further to the light. It actually takes resistance to go to the negative. If we constantly place barriers and restrictions, then it become negative, because the universe is biased. Everything slightly leans towards the light more than negative. You actually have to resist to go into negative. So listen to in your phone, your car, your PC, everything. Listen. Well, I'm pretty sure when the Earth is sinned, we won't be having that type of technology, because, as I said, we wouldn't need it, because if you're speaking to telepathy and your higher mind, it won't be as needed as much. Yes, I understand. Well, I'm already towards the end of. Okay. It is a lot of comics. I'm just going to like read. East 11, my spiritual birthday. Like um, public. Every day when you wake up, you're naturally at 51% in vibration. But if you start thinking something negative, you start to drop. Your vibration goes up and down, up and down. It never stays all day at the top. Some days you're going to be really high in vibration, and then some days you may drop a little. So you can learn more. You drop down, you go up and down. Ooh, running out battery pretty quickly. Well, it is almost time for me to end. This was a pretty fun stream I had so far. I had enjoyed talking to everyone, including all the negative comments. But, no. And towards the beginning of the live stream, even there. Oh no, you're good. You're okay. I appreciate the feedback. As long as it's positive and it's actually coming from the heart, I don't mind. I'm now surrounding you in the golden light. I am now removing all astral parasites that may be attached to you throughout the day. Filling your space of light. Yes, I am petting the air. Quantum and tingle. May your day or night be filled with light. Namaste. I love all of you unconditionally. Have a blessed day.